Hello, America. I know I said I wasn't going to make any more WWE videos, but I think this really needs to be said, and it's going to be a good video. It's not just largely a rant like it was last night. There's more of a structural, it's more of a structural video, and there's more of a logical point to the video, and I think you're understand that in a minute. I was watching, I think it was 2 videos. Zack Ryder loses the IC title. Yes, that same Zack Ryder that won it at WrestleMania 32, I'm sure you know. And then continued to lose it less than 24 hours later. And the second video was of Baron Corbin, or Baron Corbin, whatever the fuck his name is, I don't know, a wrestler from NXT, who has an awesome look, but again, no character. What is his character? They do nothing, and they go out of their way almost not to explain anything about this guy, who the fuck he is, or why do we care. And that largely is the problem with this company. I think the more I think about it, and I've thought about this before, and I've talked about this before, but I think this really shows and really got me thinking about how stupid this is. And that is the fact that they have no character development. But now they're bringing up all these wrestlers. Now that it's after WrestleMania, it's time to bring up another shipment of NXT guys to the main roster so that they can promptly be buried, torn down, made to look like shit, and sent back to fucking NXT. But they brought up these guys, but I get to thinking about it, they've never really explained. First of all, they've never gotten the characters really over with the audience from NXT. But not only that, in part because they've not only not gotten them over, but it's part of the reason they've not gotten them over is they haven't developed the damn character. They have not developed the damn characters. They have not explained largely even what the characters are. They've never established even some understanding or resemblance of understanding of who the characters are or what they do. Here's an example. Neville comes over. Who in the fuck is Neville? Okay, came over last year. Okay, he's the man that Gravity forgot. Okay, well, he's out injured now, so I guess Gravity finally remembered him. But what does he do? Okay, he does flippity floppity shit and high flying. Okay, that's all good and well. But who is he as a person? What is his personality? What other wrestlers does he like? Who does he hate? What's his backstory? Those kinds of things. No explanation. Sasha Banks. Who is Sasha Banks? Sasha Banks. Who is Sasha Banks? She's the boss. Okay, here's the thing. First of all, why would we be cheering a fucking boss, and why are you cheering the boss? He's supposed to be a face character now. I wasn't even aware a face turn took place. I don't even think they do face turns properly anymore. That's to say that somebody becomes a good guy. They don't do that properly in the first place to begin with. But first of all, why would you cheer them? And that's the whole feminist thing. Who the fuck wants to cheer for their boss? It's like feminists, we're the boss. Well, then I'm booing you. It's like you didn't cheer Vince McMahon. You booed him because he was a boss. Yeah, sure, after a while, it became symbolic of the Attitude Era, and you started becoming nostalgic, and you cheer him because of that. But you boo him. But again, notwithstanding that, not only that, what in the fuck exactly is she the boss of? What is she a boss of? She's not a boss of any damn thing. That's not a character. Is that her character? What the fuck is her character? She comes out here every week, and she's the boss. That's really all she says. Who gives a fuck? It's like we're stepping. At least she is the boss of the show. We understand what she does. What the fuck does she do? We don't understand her. There's no character development. There's no character establishment. She has no character to speak of. Then you try to get her over? You can't get someone like that over with the audience because they don't have a character. There's nothing to care about. Then you have Becky Lynch. She's the last kicker. Well, okay, who is she and why do we give a fuck? Well, she's the last kicker. Well, first of all, why doesn't she just say ass kicker? Why say last? Other than the PG rating, but again, why replace it with last? What is the significance of that word? There is none. Okay, is it because that's what they call something in that country and in Ireland, wherever she comes from? I think they call women last. Is that it? There's no explanation. They don't explain it to the casual viewer, probably doesn't understand it. There's no explanation of the fucking character whatsoever at all. Other than that, what does she do? Who is she as a person? What is her personality? Who is she and why should we give a fuck? Who is Kevin Owens? They're finally starting to better develop his character. Yeah, he's a little bit more of a straightforward, laced up, boots to ass kind of wrestler. That's fine. But up until recently, he had no character whatsoever. Okay, a guy named Vince Russo talks about that, and he got a lot of heat for saying, if I look at that guy, he's just some fat guy. Well, I have to tell you, if I didn't watch Ring of Honor and I didn't like him from that show, and I was looking at him, I would say he's just some fucking fat guy, because that's how WWE has booked him ever since he got in the company. There's no reason to give a fuck. Who is he and what the fuck does he do and why do we care? Of course, Russo also is kind of one of those guys with a big dude fetish, not as bad as some of these idiots, but, I don't like that, but, whatever. He's right. The guy largely has no character. He has no fucking character. Who are they and what do they do and why do we give a fuck? If you go back and you look at that Attitude Era, you watch the Attitude Era, when they brought a wrestler out, if you go back and look at that Attitude Era and you watch the Attitude Era, when they brought a wrestler out, from the moment they came out, from the moment they hit the fucking button, they came through the curtains, they came into the ring, through the ring rope, you knew who the fuck they were. The minute they hit that fucking music where he says, hello ladies, and out comes all Venus, people cheered the shit out of him because they already knew who he was. Now you can say, well, he's just some guy who talks about his dick, whatever you want. The reality is, they must have ran like 30 promos, 30 vignettes, or however you said that, explaining who he was before he got to the ring. So by the time that music hit, everyone knew who the fuck he was. They must have ran 30 vignettes before he ever got to the ring. So, he's got Jenna Jameson blowing him. He's fucking a bunch of chicks in a car. People know who he is. So by the time that music hits, when he gets to the ring, you already know who he is and you already know why you give a fuck. Godfather is a pimp. Very simple. Gangrel drinks blood. He's a vampire. Undertaker comes into the company as a dead guy. Above all, first of all, Kane. Who was Kane? Kane was scarred horribly by his brother in a fire. Has severe psychological problems as well as physical scarring. Both mental and physical scarring in both. And he's a monster. He's 7 foot tall. He's not actually that big, I don't think, but they build him up a little bit big. He's a tall guy. He's got muscles. He's big. He's like his brother. He's big. Because he's like his brother, The Undertaker. Who is The Undertaker? Undertaker came into the company as a dead guy. With Paul Bearer. He was kind of like a magician who was Paul Bearer. He owns the funeral home. He comes in. Later on, he becomes more goth. He becomes more like a vampire. Then he becomes a Satanist. He's sacrificing people. Then you hit 2000. What is he? What does he become? He becomes kind of a motorcycle type guy. And again, I still don't understand that 2000 character is one of the worst character evolutions ever, in my opinion. But at least he had a character. Again, you know who the fuck he is. Then he goes back to, more of his original thing, and he's a little bit of all of it now. But you know who the fuck he is. You know who he is. You do not know who Neville is. You do not know who Sasha Banks is. You do not know who, Becky Lynch is. You do not know who fucking, whoever else is. You don't know who Baron Cohen is, or Coburn, or whatever. You don't know who the guy is. Here's an idea. Why don't you make him a vampire? That would be cool. He has a cool kind of look. Why don't you make him a Satanist? Make that his character. Nope. He's just a wrestler. They're all a bunch of robots who go out there and wrestle. And here's the other thing. What do you do with Zack Ryder? Okay, first of all, 2 fucking things. First of all, once again, no fucking character development. There was no story, no backstory. He was over 4 fucking years ago. He had a backstory. There's no backstory now. You did nothing to get the guy over with the fucking audience. We don't know who he is. A lot of people don't remember him 4 fucking years ago. No one remembers this guy. No one gives a fuck. He finally wins the title. Okay, all good and well. He worked hard for it. Here comes the next problem. He loses it 24 hours later, last night, I guess technically, to who else but the fucking Miz. Miz, the same guy who's not over, doesn't have momentum, and here they are trying to give another guy, the same guy, one of the same guys another push, and it doesn't work. And I don't. And again, that's not a knock at the Miz. I like Miz, but it doesn't work. So here they are doing this fucking shit again. Then what do you have? What do you have already? Here you have this guy now who's right back at square one. And again, from what I can see, in 2011 when he first won, when he got over the first time, character real developed, real defined. He was kind of a Jersey Shore type character. Again, I guess that's a little bit out of date now. People don't like that. They didn't really like it then, but they liked him. He was kind of a lovable loser. Okay, well now I guess he's just a guy in some tights and a fucking little bit of a beard that he's grown, and that's his character now. No one knows who he is. No one gives a fuck. Once again, no one gives a fuck. He's got the short tights on, a little bit of a beard now that he's grown. Again, no one gives a fuck. There's no reason to give a fuck. No one knows who he is. No one knows who the character is. No one cares. There's no character development. Miz, another thing. That's another thing. But also, that's another thing. He loses. These characters are not made to look strong. Ambrose lost. What is his character? He's the lunatic. Why is he the fucking lunatic? Because he kind of jumps over the top rope once in a while? They all do that. Neville, we just talked about him. He does it. Why is Ambrose crazy and Neville isn't? What is the point of fucking Neville? I mean, not Neville. What is the fucking point of Ambrose? Oh, well, he's fearless. He will, I guess he'll fight larger wrestlers. That's part of it. Well, at a certain point, it's no longer fearless. If you fight the same guys over and over, and they keep beating your ass every time, you keep losing, that's no longer fearless, okay? That becomes stupid at a certain point, because he loses. He's the guy who loses. They should call him the stupid fringe. It's like a fucking turtle walking up to a shark. It doesn't make sense. When Austin said, I'm going to pull that foot out of the grave and put it in your ass, when he told Undertaker that in '99, clear, defined character, he ended up defeating Taker in the end because he is your main good guy and you want him to get over. It made absolutely no sense in terms of characters and in terms of trying to get over young wrestlers, in terms of booking not just the character but the performer and trying to get over a new star, to have Ambrose, the younger good guy, lose to Lesnar, the older heel, the older bad guy. Why would you do that? No fucking logical common sense whatsoever was made that night. And that's the problem. You develop your damn characters, define them. First of all, establish a fucking character of some kind, then clearly define, then develop them and clearly define them, WWE. Develop your damn characters. Please.